Dream team of the week for the first round of the Six Nations, week 1. I have got the England jersey on. I suppose it will kind of become apparent why. I know some of you guys have said, hey, do you have to have a wash after you wear that England jersey? Does that feel uncomfortable putting that thing on? It's actually surprisingly comfortable. It's a very nice fit, this England jersey. I never thought I would have said that, but hey, England had a very good outing at the weekend, and that's kind of reflected here. If you're an Ireland fan, not so much. So, yeah, this is probably not the best video for those looking for a whole bunch of green jerseys here. But hey, what can I say? It wasn't the best result for the Irish. Anyway, let's get on with the team. It's kind of a fantasy style team that I pick here, so I do look through all the positions, but I kind of clump them into these generic groups rather than going specifically who was the best loose head prop. I just got props, blind side, open side, number 8, just loosies. So some of that might look a little bit funny, but hey, these are my 15 players of the week. Number 1, Mcaveeney Pola, easy choice. Probably the first name off the team sheet this week. He was just outstanding at the weekend. I mean, his stats: 11 runs, 15 meters. That's already pretty good for a prop. That's pretty busy work rate. 1 defender beaten, 2 passes, but 27 out of 28 tackles. That is just next level amazing. And as some of you guys have mentioned in the comments, it was dominant tackles from England generally. That was what helped them get the victory there. So yeah, man, outstanding effort. How good is it to see him back in the England jersey? Very promising. He's definitely a man you want to keep fit heading into a World Cup. Next, and not as easy a pick. I had to have a look around a wee bit, and you guys can let me know some other guys in the comments, because again, there wasn't one that was definitely sold on for me. But I've gone with Rob Evans from Wales. So his stats: 5 runs for no meters, so wasn't quite having the same impact with the ball. He still made 9 out of 10 tackles and secured a turnover, which for a prop is always a good thing to be getting. And when you think about it, they were talking about that French forward pack and how it was like the heaviest in history or something like that, and yet at times Wales was still able to really get on top at scrum time. So you got to give him some credit there. He did concede 2 penalties, so definitely not a perfect outing. It's a bit of a contrast from what you got with Mako. It's next level, but yeah, still definitely a very solid shift. Next, hookers, and I just looked at all the hookers. I have gone with Leonardo Ghiraldini. Should I have gone with George? Yeah, probably I should have. But, I mean, this guy, it was his 100th game, so I gave him a little bit of a boost. But what did he have? 5 runs for 4 meters, 3 passes. That's not all that spectacular. But again, 17 out of 20 tackles is a very, very, very solid shift for a guy in the front row. And the lineup for the Italians was one of their kind of key good points, I suppose. It was operating at 100%. So very few of the teams, I don't know if anyone else did 100% that week, but the Italians managed to get 100%. So kind of got to give credit where that's due for him there. Next, in the second row, I have gone with, from Scotland, gone with Grant Gilchrist. Again, kind of like Mcaveeney Pola, I thought he was my number 1 guy in the position. He was the first guy, the guy off the team sheet in terms of the second row for me. 10 runs, 5 meters, 5 passes, and an offload. Solid numbers, but 17 out of 18 tackles and a turnover. So just overall very, very busy work. You know, when they were missing Johnny Gray, they needed somebody to kind of step into that fold in terms of the tackles, and Gilchrist was the man. Now for the secondary lock spot, kind of like Evans, I did shop around a wee bit. I had a look. It was hard as well because the 2 English locks both went off after about 50 minutes, which makes it a bit harder. Laws had a really good impact when he came on. And yeah, a lot of the other games, there wasn't like one guy that was just head and shoulders above everyone else. So I've gone with Mr. Consistent, I've gone with Alan Wynne-Jones. If I was going to put an Irish guy in this team, it probably would have been James Ryan because his numbers are always very good because of his work rate. But even by his standards, he was probably a shade off the pace. So I think he had like 11 tackles, or was it 11 runs? I can't remember. I did have a look at his stats, and they were fine. But again, for him, you kind of expect him to have just phenomenal numbers. So Alan Wynne-Jones, again, it's hard, but he had 1 run for no meters. So again, this is why it's hard to put him in. But defensively, 15 out of 15 tackles. The guy just doesn't miss it. Stats that you don't see is his work, just clearing out rucks, all that kind of stuff that we don't really pay that much attention to as fans unless you're a real diehard. And yeah, there was one moment where he held up Picamoles for a free kick, which kind of was a pretty crucial thing for Wales overall in the game. And you got to say something for the captaincy of a dude who can pull the team back from, what was it, 16-0? So he must have said something inspiring along with Gats at halftime to kind of turn things around. Next, loose forwards. So again, I haven't picked like strictly 6, 7, and 8. Just gone with loosies generally, and I've gone with Mark Wilson from England. He's not a guy that's a real sexy pick. Like, he's not like an Adi Savia kind of busting tackles or Peter Mahoney getting line-out steals, all that kind of jazz. But what he does in his like really abrasive grunt work, he does it very, very well. 4 runs for 2 meters is nothing startling. But just like Mcaveeney Pola with 27 tackles, he also has 27. He did miss a couple more, but 27 out of 30 tackles and even 2 turnovers for a guy with 6 on his back. So, pretty hard to argue with, man. Close to 30 tackles from any player is very good. But from a number 6, it's exactly what you want. For my second pick, I've gone with Picamoles from France. He was definitely on fire in that first half. He was really leading the charge for the French. Literally, when he scored his try, he kind of cut back in on Anscombe, and Williams wasn't able to stop him from getting over the line. It was always going to be hard from that far out. But 1 try, 14 runs for 48 meters, which is very impressive for a guy in his position. 1 clean break, 3 defenders beaten, 10 from 10 tackles, and 2 turnovers. So he was just kind of the star of the show. Sometimes we expect it more from Girardo, but this time it was Picamoles putting in a very, very good effort. And I've gone with Mcaveeney from Wales as my final pick. He had 8 runs for 17 meters, 17 out of 18 tackles. So again, guy who's getting through some work at tackle time, 2 turnovers, and no penalties conceded. Now, the entire Welsh back row was good. Tipuric was good. Moriarty was good, but like Tipuric conceded a couple of penalties. So I kind of went with the guy who had everything pretty much favorably in Mcaveeney, but loosies all around. A lot of the teams all put in big shifts, so it's always a really hard one when picking loosies, but those are my picks. Next into the backs, I have gone with Ben Youngs as my number 9. I know nobody likes Ben Youngs. I don't know why. I guess it's because he just box kicks really well, and that's not that fun. Like, he's not getting that many try assists directly, and he's not making that many sniping runs, but his kicks got more meters than anybody else. At the weekend, he had more kicks generally. I think he had 19 kicks, which is the most, and that's not necessarily a good thing if the kicks are bad, but for him, the kicks for the most part were pretty good, contestable, near the whitewash if they're putting the defenders under pressure when catching. So him and Farrell kind of kept the Irish guys busy with their work from the boot. 5 runs, 6 meters, 1 defender beaten, 63 passes. 4 out of 7 tackles is not that great, but his control of the game is pretty much why he's there. Number 10, I've gone with Fern Russell for Scotland. So he had 2 try assists, and they were pretty much magnificent. One of them was a great cross kick. One of them was a little move where he got more time on the ball than he needed somehow. Like, he was approaching the Italian defenders and just kind of, you weren't sure what he was going to do, and the defenders held off him, so he got enough space to create a try. 8 runs, 13 meters, 5 out of 8 tackles. Again, defensively, it's not that great, but he just ran the show. He just had so much time, really in control. And I know some people say, it's only against Italy, it doesn't matter, but from my point of view, I've kind of got to look at the games as fairly much even. So, I mean, you could definitely put Farrell in there for the way he controlled the game. Again, for England, but for that game, I'm going with Russell. If Farrell has a blinder against Italy, be more than happy to put Farrell in there. He might not even play Italy, to be fair. He may be rested. We will see. Next, in the midfield, gone with Manu Tuilagi. This guy's back, and his stats don't do him justice, interestingly. Like, I often pick, you can tell from stats, it's part of kind of a combination with the gut feel, but the stats don't really match the gut feel here, because he had 8 runs with 19 meters. Not all that flash. 8 out of 11 tackles, which is, solid without being spectacular. 2 defenders beaten, 2 passes and an offload. But just his kind of physical presence in that game, like sometimes when he would tackle people, they would just go backwards, or when he went at the line, you could feel his presence was back. And I've talked about his injuries in the past and how sometimes you look at him and go, ooh, don't get injured. You didn't feel like he was going to get injured in this one. He seemed to be kind of bossing things, which is what we want to see from him. And yeah, he did it real well. He's back. Hopefully he stays fit. Next. See why I'm wearing the England jersey, man. So many good performers. Henry Slade, 2 tries. I like tries. He was always going to be in this lineup. 8 runs, 44 meters, 3 clean breaks, 1 defender beaten, 1 pass, 10 out of 13 tackles. That try where he pretty much put the nail in the coffin towards the end was a great little bit of anticipation and eventual control. He got there. So, yeah, top stuff from that English midfield. Next. Gone with Kinghorn from Scotland. So 3 tries. Anyone who's going to get a hat-trick is probably going to be in my team of the week. 15 runs, 89 meters, 4 clean breaks, 6 defenders beaten, 4 passes, an offload, and defensively 12 from 12 tackles, which is pretty excellent for an outside back. Often you see guys like 1 from 3 when they're outside backs, but 12 from 12. Top stuff. He got man of the match as well, but again, who's not going to give a guy with a hat-trick man of the match? Next, remember this is just outside back, so I'm not thinking that George North is a fullback, but George North, 2 tries, including that key one, that intercept, 65 run meters, 5 runs, 2 clean breaks, a defender beaten, and 3 out of 4 tackles. I heard Warren Gatland gave him a bit of grief at the end of the game for some other areas he would have liked to see him improve on, but man, that guy's play pretty much won the game. So in terms of clutch moments, he was a man for the job. So yeah, and his follow-up play on that Huge try, the Huge bumble, which led to his try, was just good commitment, a good work rate, a good ticker from him. So very impressive. And lastly, Johnny May, another guy who seemed to be in absolute control. They were throwing him a lot of high balls, and he never looked in any discomfort under them. He was pretty much solid as. 1 try assist, 10 runs and 36 meters, 2 clean breaks, 4 passes and offload, 10 from 10 tackles. Some people say he's not defensively solid. 10 from 10 tackles, even 2 turnovers, and I think those were probably strips when he was in the air, but very, very solid shift from him. No Hogg. Oh man, I could have had Hogg in here all day long if I was picking a specialist fullback for my dream team. Definitely Hogg. He had like a try and a try assist and all kinds of other crazy good stats. Liam Williams for Wales was also phenomenally good. Noel for England, Adams for Wales. There were so many good outside backs, man. The back row and the outside backs are often some of the hardest ones to pick. These are my picks. You guys let me know your thoughts on the guys I have missed out, because there are plenty. Sorry, Ireland, for not picking any guys. I did have a look, but I couldn't really justify it. England, the stars of this show definitely, but also solid shifts from Wales and Scotland. A little bit of French and Italian flavour there as well. But for the most part, yeah, pretty happy with the team. You guys let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.